everybody. We just finished for you guys what is your first Gundam TV series.
Iron Blooded Orphans.
Raise your flag!
Oh, goodness.
So joining me and Andrew, we're the same people from the last video. I'm Bobby.
I'm Andrew.
And joining us here is our buddy Wes.
How's it going, guys?
Yep, if anyone watches this, who knows? This is still really on, so thanks for joining us on We Just Watched. So, Iron Blooded Orphans.
Yeah.
Okay, before I even say anything, what are you guys' no spoilers general thoughts on this being your first TV Gundam series?
I'm personally enjoying it so far. Yeah.
It's really unique because most animes have one, maybe two characters that are the central focus. And at first I thought that was going to be like Mika and Orga, which of course they are here in the show. But it's really interesting because like you're invested in the entire group by the end of the first season.
That's one thing I've always found really interesting with it is, and some would sort of say this as a flaw of the show, but I kind of think it depends on how you look at it. Where Tekkadan as a whole is kind of a character, where every single, everyone in Tekkadan sort of acts similar, but it's because that's how the group is. It's really cool in that way. You kind of go into it expecting Mika and Orga to be Kamina and Simone, and while there is similarities there, they're very different.
Very much so.
Their dynamic is really interesting.
I'm still interested on their backstory.
Yeah, that still hasn't happened yet. Season 2 is airing at the time of this. I'm the only one who's watched it, and of course I have already seen the first season before this. But this is my first time watching it for like a year. So, of course, one of the first questions I have to ask: what was your favorite mobile suit, guys? Which robot calls your name?
I actually had just thought about this right before we started.
Good.
But not Galio's Gundam.
Which version? The first or the second?
The one on the ground. The more, yeah.
That one's so cool.
I think that might be my first model kit.
Yeah, we gotta get you in there, man.
So cool.
I'd have to say for me, it's call me, anyone would say that, but it's the Barbatos.
No, it's
fair. The end of the season solidified that for me. Now that Mika's eye and arm are jacked up, because now it's a part of it, which makes it even cooler.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's a high risk, high reward kind of deal, and just that idea in general appeals to me. And that Gundam definitely has that.
Definitely. Oh, by the way, we're going to spoilers now, so
Spoiler alert!
Click the button to skip to our ending thoughts now. Okay, so along with that, I think one of the things that was the most divisive to us, it was for me at the time, and also starting, maybe not divisive, but most disagreeable with us, was Kudelia Aina Bunstein. Kudelia Aina Bunstein! Her character.
Kudelia. Why?
Yeah. Much like Kudelia, you just put a rain on this parade.
Yeah.
Why we talk about this?
Well, so of course, the biggest problem with her is just how annoying she is for the beginning, basically until like episode 18, 19.
Yeah.
It took Fumitan dying to make her a bearable character to watch.
2/3 through the first season, she's just uninteresting and just you get depressed watching her, and I hate it.
She's depression, the character.
I mean,
and she isn't even very justified. And like we get it. Okay, you want to learn about the people, and you feel useless. Okay, what else you got? Oh, is that all you got? Okay.
I mean, you have Tekkadan out there dying for her and pushing her cause forward. And then she's like moping around while they themselves, who close friends are dying, are actually like moving on and pushing forward and still smiling. I mean, friggin', who knows how many of them died for her? And then she's like, "Oh, Mika kissed me. How do I deal with this?"
Oh my god!
Like, no, this is not.
That's the second worst scene of the show.
Oh,
that's not. I don't care if you're a teenager having to deal with this. Death and
it's a
child soldier should be much more prevalent than like this pathic kid just kissed me.
Wasn't that like an episode or like the one after?
That was the one. Yeah.
First death.
that was the one after. It wasn't a death of Tekadon. It was when Akihiro's brother died.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Good times.
So to be
was,
fair, Kudelia didn't have any personal deaths there. She wasn't really depressed. It was actually Mika that was kind of like losing it, which is why that happened.
Yeah.
Still child soldiers.
Yeah. Which sort of takes us to Mika himself. What were you guys' thoughts on him? Because while the show doesn't actually focus on him too much, he is the protagonist. He's piloting the Gundam.
Yeah. He is cool, but that's all I got on him so far.
Yeah.
Cool and crazy.
Something I really like about Mika is his and Orgra's relationship.
Definitely.
Mainly because, you brought up this difference between, oh shit, I can't think of the name of the series. Spiral Power.
Gurren Lagann, yeah.
Gurren Lagann, yeah. You have that bromance there, and you can tell, like, there are some similarities to him. Like you said, it's very different, but it's almost like, even though they're friends, and Orgra doesn't use him that way, you see these hints at almost a master...
Sort of.
Slave relationship. And
not so much
that's
slave,
just
but...
not the case.
Yeah.
But it's just the way Mika asks it, like, what do you want me to do next? What do you want me to do?
It's the most sort of almost literal representation of the brain and the brawn. Mika doesn't think, he just kills. Orga doesn't really kill, he just thinks.
But I mean, even in the way he's just like, what do you want next? And they're friends, and they trust each other, but it's kind of that sense of asking where you just kind of like, how unique is this that they can talk like that and be friends when you almost have this master-servant relationship if you're looking at it from the outside.
Mika's a sociopath also,
which
I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
I'll do my thoughts really quick on Mika. While he's definitely not the most complex of characters, and he doesn't have like a big arc or anything. I kind of feel that's the point, and I respect that. And whereas it's such a common trope in mecha anime and anime in general to have your protagonist be a wet towel, like, I don't want to kill people, and that whole character arc. And while I think those characters are often better written, the badly written ones are the worst. And there's so many of them these days. Valvrave the Liberator, and there's a couple other shows. I'll have clips on screen of those for real quick. But this one was a really good antithesis to that, where Mika was, nah man, I'm all about the killing. It's all I can really do, in fact. And I really like that direction, and I'm really hoping that in season 2 they'll expand upon that more. And it's hard to tell in which direction they're going to take Mika in season 2, but in general, I think he was a really cool character in how he was just so different from everything else.
He's a very pure character.
Yeah, pure in his simplicity. No honor, no nothing. He's just, you're in my way, you're dead. And that's it.
Do we need to survive? Survive.
Going off of that, I love the scene where Karta is trying to like do her formation thing, and then
Akihiro.
And
do we attack?
Come in and
that was okay, right? Them. And Mika's like, yeah, man, it was cool.
I can shoot them, right?
That's totally that's one of the best scenes of the series, man. It's so good.
So it's interesting, we just talked about Mika, how he's, kind of this cold, heartless, do what it takes to survive kind of person, and warning, spoiler alert, McGillis, by the end of this season, you're just like, oh man, you, at the beginning of the season, you think you have this honor-driven character, and he's supposed to be super complex, but by the end of it, it's all really simple. He's just like, I'm doing this and this, betraying my comrades, killing people that were close to me intentionally so I can take the power they had for myself to do the change I view as necessary. He's almost like a sociopath.
It adds
and he and Mika suddenly become very similar.
Friendship with Galileo over. Now Mika is my best friend.
Oh, gosh.
But that's one thing that's also interesting when you come at it from the perspective of a Gundam fan like me. I'm the resident Gundam expert here. But this will relate to you in the sense you can think about Lelouch from Code Geass and how he acted. Both Lelouch as well as McGillis are both inspired by the same Gundam character, Char Aznable. And how they subverted the expectations with McGillis was really interesting. how Char Aznable, his whole thing was he totally outclasses the protagonist at the start, and he's classy and he's better and he's got the whole, he's stylish and honorable and all that sort of thing, and their fight continues throughout the series. And so I was expecting the same thing to happen, because Char clones are all over Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over. What makes McGillis so interesting is the character he was initially like, oh, that's going to be his rival. No, they team up. They are implicit in each other's plans, and they work together. And if it weren't for that combination, then the plan would fail. And so it's really interesting from a Gundam perspective how, you know, the rival character wasn't never really the rival. He was their ally from the start, really.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting too, comparing Mikazuki and even Lelouch, because Lelouch was way more complex.
Yeah, Lelouch
had a lot of emotions, and in the end, ended up sacrificing himself at the end of the show for everybody and everything, for his cause and his belief. Whereas I don't think Mika's like that. You know, his cause and his belief is Orgra
and Tekadon.
And Tekadon, yeah, but I feel like Orgra is still above Tekadon.
Yeah, Orga's the biggest thing for him, because they're kind of a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Lelouch, in essence, killed himself for the greater good. I don't think he would do that. So the comparison, although they're similar in how different they are, is just really fascinating.
Yeah. And of course, real quick, Lelouch was also based on Char Aznable.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting. That's for the Code Geass video. We're talking about Gundam, so I'm gonna stop talking about that.
Yeah.
I could go on for a while.
Tangent broken.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I gotta say also, this series had great music. It's
It did.
so interesting, and it kind of ties into the sort of medieval theming the whole series has, where, you know, the Gundams are very, like, the design sensibilities behind the Gundams are sort of, you have the inner frame, and then you put the mech on top of it. Like, think about how their waist was exposed and stuff like that, for like everything. So it gave the idea of like an armored knight. And so especially with Gailio's mechs of the Chimaris Gundams are so obviously knights.
Oh yes.
Especially the second one where he's jousting. It's so cool. And how that ties into with the music too, how it's all strings, and that would fit in a medieval series. But it fits in so perfect.
Good.
Which is an interesting contrast from the opening, which is kind of a more rocky raise your flag, right?
The openings are so good.
They really are.
And I'm not gonna lie, if I can shift to the topic just a little bit, the second opening doesn't even compare to the first for me. It really doesn't. I love the first one so much, between the lyrics and just the overall sound of the music. So I'm hoping that season 2, its first opening, is better than the second opening of season 1.
Well, personally, I can't really say which ones I liked best, because I liked them all. I think for me, Survivor was a bit catchier. I like the song itself a bit better, even though I think as an opening, it's possible that the first one's a lot more recognizable. You know, when someone says "Raise your flag," you know exactly what they're talking about. That's gonna come up a lot in this video, I think. But yeah, we'll have that when that happens. So we've been singing the praises of Gundam IBO so far. Let's talk about the shitty things, because IBO has its share of shit. We already touched on Kudelia.
Yep.
I have some general complaints that I want to say. Was there anything else that kind of stood out to you as like a flaw in the show?
One of the things that bugged me is their lack of addressing really obvious plot holes. Like, when they first escape from Mars and they're in space, they've left one adult with them. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Dexter. Yeah, I mean, a guy with a huge fat round stomach. I mean, you could tell he just looks like a jerk, right? Like a total douche. And it's so frustrating that he later ends up...
Oh, wait, no, sorry, not Dexter, the Hitler-looking guy.
Yeah, Hitler-looking guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, okay.
Boring Hitler, fat tummy 2.0, right? I mean, this guy is just a total jerk from the get-go. He betrays them, tries to push his own cause forward, and then just randomly, he's their allies, right-hand man. He suddenly seems way better, like he's still cocky and annoying. But it's just like, oh yeah, I'm here, and I got away, and I was fine,
He's
and
friends,
I'm not...
best friends with McGillis.
Why? There
actually
I hate
is a
that.
reason. It's never explicitly stated either in season 1 or 2, but the basic reason is that he knows the kids in Tekadon. He knows how they act, he knows what they're like, and so McGillis uses that to sort of understand where they're coming from, so that he can better make his plans. And in season 2, he is sort of a midway point between the two parties. So that'll be
an interesting contrast, since those kids hate him and tied him up, and sent him out into space.
There's some pretty funny interactions with that. It's pretty great. Season 2 is really good so far.
That character in general he's like one of my least favorite characters.
I think he was fun. He was Hitler. He was funny to watch.
I would rather watch Kudelia than him, to be perfectly frank.
Oh man, that's okay.
I'm getting bold with that.
That's bold. Saying that.
I'm with Wes on this.
But no, and this is something you brought up to me, but you said it as I was thinking it. How do they not know what she looks like?
Oh,
what the heck?
Yes.
I almost forgot. Thanks for reminding me of how
my
that
goodness.
is.
Like, and I guess the show kind of hints at being like, she's the voice of the people. I'm just like, oh yeah, and I was like, and whereas most people would say, they're the face of this rebellion, but she's like, it's the voice. And I'm like, oh, the voice. And, and no one knows what she looks like. What?
It's insane.
She's only the voice of the rebellion.
She's only the rebellion that we're...
Are you saying we have to face this problem?
Shut up.
Shut up. I got my one pun in.
This is a world... I get that this is a world that doesn't have an internet, due to the fact that...
Advanced space technology.
Well, the whole thing is that, at least not in space. Maybe on Earth they have the internet. But in space, the whole deal is that the only relay points they have is those, gigantic mega structures in space that they have to, daisy chain together to get any kind of communication. So yeah, there wouldn't be an intergalactic internet. That makes sense. But newspapers, how ignorant are the people? How little do they know? TV exists because I know.
Or I guess how much does Gilgahorn control the media?
Gjallarhorn must be completely incompetent. How did Gjallarhorn's soldiers, the ones who were interrogating them, how did they not know what she looks like? That's stupid.
At that point, it could be any person on the street. I mean, they could be asking every single person and interrogating every blonde girl in the city.
They didn't even go for a blonde girl. They
exactly.
went for a girl clearly younger, and the point of it doesn't have to be Kudelia. We just need to use her. But if it's not Kudelia, then Gjallarhorn will be up your ass saying, "What the fuck? You killed the wrong girl."
And if it really doesn't have to be Kudelia, couldn't you have gotten somebody else a long time ago?
Mm-hmm. The plan just falls apart there. Yeah. Luckily, they move right past that and don't talk about it, and it's not a plot point ever again.
And the guy who ticked us off, we find out
he killed himself.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
We have a spoiler alert at the start. We don't have it ever throughout.
Gotcha. But I mean, it's beautiful because it's just like, man, I really hate that guy.
I really screwed up, so I'm just gonna kill myself, bro.
And then I feel like maybe they're pushing, oh, it's so sad his brother killed himself. And sure, his brother's his point, but the rest of them are just that makes sense. We wanted you to die. Yeah. Thanks for not wasting much screen time.
Thanks, fam. Your screen time's done. Voice actor got paid. He's done. So this also sort of brings up what I think, for me personally, was one of the worst plot holes, which is Ozzy and Laughter being alive at the end. The two girls. I know you're happy about that, but they explicitly, as explicitly as you can get for a TV anime that's not like Psycho-Pass, for explicit as you can get, they show him slash the axe into the thing, and they show blood all over the cockpit and her head down. And what are we supposed to assume other than she's dead? Yeah. And he does a Gurren Lagann style drill kick into explicitly the cockpit, and we see blood fly out. We see blood. So did he just scratch her a little bit? Did he spill her juice? What?
Wow.
And then when we see them at the end, they're barely injured.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzy's a bit hurt, or I don't remember which one.
That's
Which
the
white-haired girl's a little hurt, which screams to me. This is also conjecture. Did they just get a lot of negative feedback that they killed the waifus, so they had to bring them back? Is that what happened?
I mean, I won't disagree with you in the sense that really, like, you're not even that scratched. Like, I mean, because it was savage. Cause not even a drill kick. Like, it didn't even send her flying. Like, it was supposed to drill a hole straight through.
And Shino was totally hurt. He was bleeding out of the eye. He got fucked up real good. The girls weren't.
Yeah,
girls are fine.
And they got worse.
And that's frustrating because, don't get me wrong, I'm so happy they're alive. They're fun characters, in my opinion.
They're fun, definitely. I like them.
But it's frustrating because, I mean, like Mika, make him lose an arm or something, you know? Yeah. Let there be an injury that we're going to see throughout the rest of the show that's going to go, dang, Ein came out swinging. But now we're never going to see anything except, occasionally reminding that Mika can go hardcore parkour.
Well,
to even remind us of Ein.
I'm gonna give him. It's not even a spoiler. He never regains control of his arm and eye. It's like that forever.
Dang.
But only when he's plugged in, he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a really cool plot point. Which is more in the second season, so we're not gonna talk about it too much here. But it's a really cool way to expand on that.
Also, you mind if I bring up the point that I made earlier?
Oh yeah.
So I found something really interesting, or I figured out something really interesting that specifically, the right eye and the right arm of Mika was basically useless at that point. And what that told me is that basically the connection to his brain with those functions were cut off. Now, interestingly, that is actually connected to the left brain, which is dedicated to logic. So, literally, Mika has lost the connection to logic.
That's kind of in the way that he goes in beast mode when he goes on Ein. Poor Ein.
It's just
my sweet
really
baby.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool. Like generally, I think we can agree the style of the show is cool, and a lot of the
music on point.
There's some really interesting plot points there, like with how the whole Galileo situation and things like that worked. But a lot of we were supposed to feel emotional at this part just kind of fell flat, but it totally succeeded with Biscuit.
Oh yes. Biscuit.
His presence will be missed.
Yes. Oh man.
Can't wait for them to tell the sisters.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Or grandma.
Luckily,
then
it's
grandma
off-screen.
dies from a broken heart.
Oh man!
And then the
terrible.
twins are just left alone forever.
And then the twins hold hands and fall off a building. The Biscuit family ends here.
Well, you wanted emotion. There you go.
There you go. Emotional resonance. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about.
Do we want to expand on Biscuit's death at all?
If you've got anything else you want to say, totally.
I mean, just the whole thing of it was so freaking sudden, and
they treated death as it should be, which is it didn't mean anything that he died. It was just, I mean, there was the whole anime sacrifice angle,
right?
But he didn't accept death. He was crawling and I'm not gonna die. I'm cool. And then he's dead. He cuts him off mid-sentence, which is really cool.
It's the fact that I have never seen that done before in an anime that I can remember.
JoJo Part 2? Caesar?
Well,
Caesar!
Okay, probably, but the fact that
different.
it happened so few times, even then, is just, it is so heart-wrenching.
Yeah. When death is really done well in anime, it's awesome. And Gundam does it well. I really like that Takaki wore his hat in the last couple episodes.
That was really cool.
Like he's going to be filling that role. Let's see.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that about sums it up. Overall, definitely would recommend. This is a great show to get into the Gundam franchise. If the old stuff is too old for you, you want to get into something newer to sort of get into the franchise. This is a fantastic place to start. In my opinion, it's better than 00, although some people would probably argue with that. But Season 2 is better than 00 Season 2, so boom. Oh my god, Season 2 is so bad at that. But anyway, that's a different video.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other closing remarks?
You guys want to give it a rating?
My general rating for the show, it kind of varies. It's either a high 7 or an 8 is kind of what it is for me, where it's really entertaining. It's really solid. Watching it while it was airing was kind of hellish in the midway point. This is something I did mean to mention, how the pace just slows down so much after the whole Akihiro thing.
Oh, yeah, it
the pace is just so slow then. And it was miserable to watch it was airing. But now it's fine. So it's not nearly as bad to watch now. I would definitely recommend it at this point. Season 2 is going great so far. 7 or an 8 for me.
All right. For me personally, I would recommend the show. As someone who's been introduced to a lot of anime throughout the past year, but also watched it for a long time, the show's interesting. It holds your attention. It does have that problem of pacing, which is why I'm giving it just a solid 7.
Yeah.
But I mean, by the end of the season, between everything
it ramps
that goes
up so well.
Oh yeah, between everything that just goes down with Biscuit to things finally closing out a bit with Kudelia,
and the final fights are awesome.
And their first job being done, you're just like, and I found myself going, wow, I'm actually really invested in this more than I thought. Like, I look forward to what's next, and I want to keep watching, and that's why I would suggest
I'm really happy
this.
to hear that.
Yeah, I think we can all agree. It's not a masterpiece.
It's no masterpiece.
But it is certainly not a failure.
It is a solid piece of entertainment.
It is, yeah, and that's why I am also giving it a solid 7.
Yeah, that's about right. Seven's pretty much all across the board.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
But yeah, you needed some good mecha. You need some glorious 2D mecha animation in this era of CG bullshit. Iron Blooded Orphans is your show. Everybody, raise your flag!